Personal watercraft first appeared on the scene in the late 1980s. They took the waterways by storm, and for good reason. In a word, they're fun. They created a brand new segment of water-based excitement overnight, but they also came with their own unique set of challenges. Because they're jet-driven, they don't operate like regular vessels, and many are equipped with engines that can propel them up to 70 miles an hour. So training and experience are necessary to ensure safe operation.
I have a lot of experience with personal watercraft. I was there in the late 80s with my television show, Powerboat TV, when the first sit-down models were introduced. And then I followed their development for almost 20 years.
During that time, I not only tested most models, I also included watercraft in many of my adventures, including a fishing tournament in the Bahamas and participating in the world's first PWC crossing of the Bering Strait, from Alaska all the way to Russia.
Throughout my time riding, I actively promoted safe and competent operation. And it all starts right here, before you ride, with required equipment.
First, wearing a life jacket is the norm, and depending on the state, it's the legal practice with watercraft riding. And there are PWC-specific life jackets available. They're high impact, inherently buoyant, and many are even color coordinated with your machine. But the new inflatables are not approved for watercraft use.
Every PWC comes equipped with an engine cutoff switch, which automatically cuts the engine if you fall off. One end of the tether is attached to your life jacket like this. Now, some tethers also loop around your wrist, and the other end plugs into the engine cutoff like this. It's also a good idea to test the switch before you head out on the water. You'll need a sound signaling device, either a whistle or a horn. Now, I recommend both. A horn, because it's loud, and a whistle attached to your life jacket is also a good idea.
Because the engine and fuel compartment are enclosed, you will also need a Class B1 fire extinguisher. And if we were cruising coastal waters or the Great Lakes, visual distress signals would also be required.
That's the minimum legal requirement, but here's what I'd add to that list. A wetsuit like I'm wearing or something similar to protect you from the elements. You can also expect to get a lot of sun, so be sure and wear sunblock. And to protect yourself against the water at high speed, wear protective footwear, a pair of goggles or sunglasses, and gloves.
A portable VHF radio, collapsible paddle, and tow line are a good idea. And water and snacks can also come in handy. And for whatever might be damaged if it gets wet, store in a watertight container. It's also a good idea to ride with a buddy. So for our ride today, I've teamed up with my daughter Laura and her friend Lauren.
And finally, a systematic pre-departure check of your watercraft before you head out will help minimize the risk of breakdown out on the water.
First, have a good look at the hull to ensure that there are no significant nicks or gouges. You want to make sure that your intake grate is clear. Check the jet nozzle as well, and make sure that all the nuts and bolts are secure. This is a good time to check the operation of the steering. Remove the seat and take a good look at the engine compartment to see if there's oil in the bilge or any gas fumes present. If there are, you have a problem that should be investigated. Visibly check your fluid levels before reinstalling the seat. At the helm, check for ease of movement on all the controls. And if everything checks out, you're ready to go and enjoy what these machines were made for. The first thing you have to remember about PWCs is to stay well away from swimmers. These machines can operate in very shallow water, and that's exactly where you'll find swimmers. Try and spot a head poking up through the water. It's very difficult. If you have to move through an area close to swimmers or small boats, do so with the minimum amount of speed. And that goes for crowded anchorages as well. Stay clear of other boats stopped or at anchor. You never know when there might be someone in the water nearby. And although you might think that PWCs are small and don't leave much of a footprint, think again. The manufacturers have got the emissions dialed in with technical advances in two-stroke technology and many machines being equipped with four-stroke engines. But personal watercraft do create weight, especially at mid-range speeds, so you want to take that into consideration when you're operating around others. And they do make noise, especially the older ones. So don't spend your day playing in one place. move around the lake, and give others who share the water with you a break. Because PWCs are jet-powered, they have unique steering characteristics quite different from other vessels. The most obvious is when you cut the throttle. You lose the ability to steer. That characteristic becomes critical if you have to suddenly avoid some obstacle like another boat. Your natural instinct will be to first release the throttle to slow down, and then turn to avoid a collision. Except you won't be able to turn because you have no propulsion.
The best way to handle this characteristic is to learn and practice how to avoid obstacles. Now, of course, the best procedure is to keep a good lookout, and that way you'll avoid having to make sharp, evasive turns. But sometimes things happen, and when they do, use the personal watercraft's nimble characteristics to get you out of trouble. Now, I brought this little marker out here with me to give Laura some practice on making evasive turns.
You start by not reducing the power, but rather keeping it on and turning smartly away from the obstacle, powering through it and bracing yourself as you do. And you should practice this until it becomes second nature. The PWC industry has developed some off-power steering mechanisms, including a new braking system, which Laura's machine is equipped with. But it's still a good idea to know how to effectively control your machine and always be alert to what's around you.
Even though a personal watercraft has a shallow draft, navigation aids are important because they tell you where the safest water is. And that's a reason to take a safe boating course. But not just to learn about NavAge, you'll also learn about rules of the road.
These machines can do over 60 miles an hour, and that's a very quick closing speed on the water. One generally in which the watercraft rider will be the one making the right-of-way decisions. So, here are some basic guidelines. When approaching another vessel head-on, alter your course so that you pass on the right, port side to port side. You should give way to a vessel approaching from your starboard side by slowing down and passing behind. If you're overtaking another vessel, because you cannot easily signal your intentions to the other boat with a horn signal, move well to the right before you pass, and keep a watch to ensure that the other vessel doesn't turn into you.
If you're traveling with a group or just with one other watercraft like we are today, always keep your separation at speed. Keep 100 feet distance between the watercraft, because you see, one errant wave or someone making a turn without looking could ruin your whole day. And when you do make a turn, always perform a shoulder check. That's just a quick look over your shoulder to make sure that no one has crept up beside you close enough that you risk a collision when you change direction. The common misconception is that boating and drinking alcohol just naturally go together. Truth is, they don't. You see, watercraft aren't much different than motorcycles or cars when it comes to drinking. So if you're going to ride, the correct rule of thumb is, don't drink.
Statistics show that over 40% of boating incidents involve alcohol. To demonstrate the effects that alcohol has on a person's ability to operate a vessel, a test was conducted with a group of boaters. The basis of the test was to navigate through a course designed to challenge the participants' handling and task management skills. Before getting underway, each were given a word to spell using the lettered gates on the course, and along the way, a number of distractions were set up to challenge them further. A baseline of the boaters' abilities was first established where each maneuvered through the course alcohol-free. Then, after a few drinks and a waiting period, their blood alcohol level was monitored and they ran the course again. Aboard the boat was a Marine police officer for safety and to observe the changes in the boaters' behavior and their ability on the course.
Definitely harder than it was, without the alcohol. When you're in reverse in a boat like that, you've got the, thinking backwards and then you throw the alcohol into there and it's definitely a lot different. It's consuming alcohol, no matter what you do, it slows your reactions and slows things down a little bit. It's a depressant, and that's what it does, and it does a good job of it. It's the overconfidence is mixed with the alcohol. Creates a bad situation.
Yeah, a little bit faster because I've been drinking. I think she's a good example of where the physical impairment really isn't there, but the more the mental and the psychological effect, where she's got more of that liquid courage.
I swerved around it. I don't know if I hit it or not.
I mean, she saw the head pop up and she said, oh, and just kind of motored past it. I think she believes she swerved around it.
The alcohol is really causing them to relax quite a bit. So even though they're alert and they're trying hard, their fine motor skills just aren't quite there anymore.
Well, I think the alcohol makes a difference. Yeah, I can feel it.
He did not let off on the throttle once. He didn't slow down when he saw the head. He didn't slow down when the baby went overboard. He just said, oh, there's the baby. He kept solid on the throttle throughout the entire course. They won't go to neutral, or they actually won't stop. They'll think they can power their way through it, and then they'll hit something.
I thought I'd done well, in my own opinion.
What Vern demonstrated was that the multitasking was quite a bit of a challenge for him. This is my second ride with Vern, first time alcohol-free, now with alcohol. Before we even left the dock, he'd said the word 3 times, or, O-A-R, O-A-R, O-A-R. He was really trying to concentrate on what he had to spell. So right off the bat, that told me that he's already trying to task himself and he's having a hard time with it. Once we got started, he was focused right away on where the baby was, where the infant was, when it was going to go overboard. So he's trying really hard to keep up with what's going to happen. Once the baby went overboard, the multitasking went out the window for him because he had completed the O and the R, but he needed the A. But he was confident. I said, did you spell your word? Oh yes, O-R. There's a lot of hazards on the water. You've got to pay attention to your vessel, how you operate it, what you have to navigate around, whether it's a shoal, a marker, into a channel. You've got to pay attention to persons on board, and you have to watch out for other vessels.
Your perception, your brain, nothing is working and nothing's really quick. You're not quick on the draw like you normally are when you're sober.
I definitely think even a little bit of alcohol makes a difference in the way you operate.
Sure changed my opinion a lot. It sure opened my eyes a lot. You think you've had full control, which is totally, you don't.
Laura, just like with other boats, it seems like you attract the most attention from other boaters when you're approaching to dock. And also, just like with other boats, docking takes some advanced planning and skill.
First, slow down a distance from the dock and keep your speed under control. You can approach from a variety of angles, but the key is to put the boat into idle at the precise time that you turn to parallel the dock. Then, put the engine into neutral and stop the boat from continuing to move forward. That way, the momentum will keep the boat on the same course, but sliding parallel up to and against the dock.
For many of us, riding a personal watercraft is one of the most exhilarating forms of boating. You can enjoy everything that the water has to offer with a speed and maneuverability that's as quick as thought. And that's one of the challenges in riding a personal watercraft. You need to get trained to operate these unique vessels safely. So take a course. You'll find that it will go a long way to help you enjoy your time on the water.